guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today I'm going to talk about 5 of my favorite watches under $2,000. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing the Panerai Radiomir PAM 380. And a fantastic loom. I love the wire lugs. This was the Panerai that made me fall in love with Panerai. These days, I'm wearing a lot of watches in rotation, so they'll get like 4 or 5 days of wrist time, at once, and I won't really swap them out. And I haven't worn the Radiomir in quite some time, so it's its turn to get worn. So I'm really enjoying it. Also, don't forget to check out delraywatch.com for another exclusive episode of Federico Talks Watches that's not on this channel. Go check it out and click on the video tab. So yeah, 5 of my favorite watches under $2,000. Now, let's clarify a few things. First, these are not the best watches under $2,000 because there's a ton of watches that couldn't have made this list. The Aquis didn't make this list. The Aura 65 didn't make this list. The Tag Aqua Racer didn't make this list. So this is not the best watches. These are just 5 of my favorites under $2,000. And also, full disclaimer, when I say under $2,000, I don't mean retail. I mean, these are watches that can definitely be picked up under $2,000 used. And there's usually quite a bit of cushion in there as well. And some of these watches can be picked up under $2,000 retail as well. And also, last disclaimer, none of these are in any particular order. So let's get started. The first watch on my list is the Nomos Club, or really any Nomos, but particularly the Nomos Club because it's my list and I like it. Nomos was a brand that was well under $2,000 and was sharply increasing up until maybe 2 years ago when they were almost inaccessible under $2,000. But now they released the new, I believe, Club College Campus Edition or something along those lines. And, they're a lot more accessible and prices have been decreasing as well. So this can comfortably be had under $2,000, probably around $1,200. Now, it's got an automatic or manual wind movement. It comes in both options depending on the case size it comes in, because you can get it in 36, 38.5, and 40. You have a date version, a non-date version, and you have a few dial options, most of which should fall under $2,000. Now, this is Nomos's kind of sportier look. I love the cream dial. I love the red indices. I love the horse leather shell cordovan strap that comes on the Nomos, and it's actually one of the few straps out there that gets better with age. The more you wear it, the better it is. And of course, the movements are in-house. Now, yes, full disclosure, in my humble experience, the Nomos movements are quite fragile, but they're very well decorated, they're made in Germany, they're in-house, and they're a steal for this price point. Any watch geek I know, well, maybe not any, but most of the watch geeks I know give Nomos 2 thumbs up, and it's no different with this watch geek right here. So the Nomos Club or any Nomos, definitely a great buy. Next, I had to throw a chrono onto this list, and that's easier said than done because chronograph prices are skyrocketing. I remember the times where you can get a Speedmaster under $2,000. Now you can barely get a reduced, and between me and you, I don't even like the reduced for that price because in my opinion, that ETA movement in there is a piece of crap. But that's not all ETA movements, just the one in the Speedy reduced. However, I do like the reduced for other reasons. I love the exotic dials and stuff. I just don't love the movement. But anyway, this list is not about the Speedy Reduced. It's about watches I do like. And for under $2,000, I like the Longines Master Collection chronograph, particularly the Bi-Compacts version. Now, yes, this is an ETA 2894, I believe. And it's got the date, it's got the Bi-Compacts chronograph. The case is very simply finished, so nothing fancy. Also the strap isn't the highest of quality, but it's got a beautiful dial, and it harkens back to this 1930s, 1940s aviation era, and it just looks really, really cool. Not to mention Longines has a great history with chronographs. Yes, that is Longines of old more than Longines of new, but it's just a great looking watch. And I think for under $2,000 in a chronograph, you can't be too demanding. And this is a very, very nice example. And the Longines Heritage Chrono, actually, correction, the Longines Master Collection Chrono, because there also is a Heritage Chrono that's different. The Master Collection Chrono is a very handsome watch under $2,000, and it definitely makes my list. Now, third is a watch way under $2,000, way under. Actually, could be had for about a tenth of $2,000. And this is the infamous Seiko Turtle. Now, why did I include it in this list? Well, unlike the SKX, which I own and love, which is, just a bit cheaper, the Turtle punches way above the SKX and way above its own weight and its price point. It's got the updated movement with the manual wind and hacking. The bracelet, while not great, is finally not laughable, but I think I like the Turtle on rubber anyway. It's very water resistant, it's a rough and tumble watch, and I think even though it can be had for like $250, $300, this is a watch which oozes quality at that price point, punches way above its weight, and is an iconic design. Now, I don't own one, I own an SKX for now, and I love my SKX, but I'm definitely putting a Turtle in the collection at some point. I'm just not sure which one. Probably the Patty Turtle, with the Pepsi bezel. Probably. Not sure, but still love that watch. Now, another watch, which is quickly rising in price, but can still be had under $2,000, but 10 years ago, $2,000 would have been laughable for this watch pre-owned because it was well under, is the Omega Seamaster Professional from the Bond era, particularly with the wave dial. I've owned this watch. It's 300 meter water resistant. It's an ETA 2892 chronometer grade with a slight modification. It's got that iconic wave dial. It's famously known as the Bond watch. At least nowadays, it was worn by Pierce Brosnan. And in my opinion, it holds the record for the most comfortable bracelet in the business. Now, this came out when the pre-ceramic sub was out. And even though Rolex is Rolex, this bracelet on the Omega Seamaster Professional was easily 1,000 times better than the comparable Oyster of the time. Rolex has updated that bracelet nowadays. It's fantastic. But back then, boy, this bracelet was head over heels 1,000 times better. And actually, to this day, it still is one of the most comfortable bracelets out there. Now, you may be asking, Federico, why aren't you wearing your Omega Seamaster Professional? Actually, I flipped it to clear up a few funds, but I will definitely add it to the collection again. The scalloped bezel, the seahorse on the back. Yes, some people start thinking it's a little dated looking, but I think it's an icon, and it's definitely a watch which is worth its price point, well under $2,000. And now, last on this list, but certainly not least, is another watch which is well under $2,000. Could be had probably between $350 and $500, and it's a watch that I will be adding to this collection. It is the Hamilton Khaki King on a strap. I particularly like the ETA version, but there is the new modified ETA with the 80-hour power reserve, which is cool too. What can we say? Classic field watch, perfect classic size, day-date complication, easy to read dial, great loom. I even love the calf strap that's on it, that's rough and tumble. It was worn by Greg House in the show house, which I thought was pretty damn cool. And Hamilton, even though it's a Swatch Group brand, has this cool American history, Hamilton is kind of famous for their field watches or their trench watches, and I think this suits them quite well. Not to mention that you can find this ETA movement, the 2836, I believe, which is the day date, in watches that are 10 times the price. So even though this is probably the lowest grade of ETA in there, and I think it's unregulated, I still think you get a solid ETA movement made by a Swatch Group company with a nice case, an iconic look for under $2,000, for under $1,000, hell, probably even under $500. And that makes the Hamilton Khaki King for me probably one of the kings of this list. No pun intended. Anyway, guys, what do you think of my list? What are your 5 favorite watches under $2,000? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to check out delraywatch.com for my curated selection of pre-owned watches that you can buy right there on the store, and some cool Federico Talks Watches merchandise. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. It really does help. But until then, guys, thank you so much for catching another episode of Federico Talks Watches, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.